We're just hitting live. Give me 1 second, then we'll get started. It's just loading. Always seems to be a lag time. Okay, looks like we are live. Well, welcome everybody to our Empowered Women's Call. It is, let me see, it is the 2nd. Happy new month, everyone. 2nd of July. I love the new month because it's new beginnings, a new opportunity to set goals and, you know, to really decide to show up for yourself and who you want to be and what you want to create for the month ahead. So thank you for joining me. Today, I really just want to have a bit of a chit chat, but before we get into that, I want to remind you that you can join me over in my Empowered Women's group, which I'll post the link in the description once we finish this, and come and join us there. It's where, you know, you get to connect with other like-minded women and stay up to date with what is going on with this Empowered Women's movement. Also, I would love for you to do a little screenshot and share and tag on your social media what you loved most about this call. Let's empower one another together. And, you know, when you stand in your vulnerability and you stand in your greatness and your truth and your authenticity, and you are willing to share authentically and vulnerably about, you know, what lights you up or what challenges you are going through, you give other women permission to do the same. You know, I've had so much feedback over last week's call about how, you know, I mean, I was very vulnerable. My stomach dropped when Nima, you know, said we're going to do it on you right now. I was not prepared for that. And, you know, definitely there was a moment of, oh my God, am I really going to do this on social media? But, you know, I did it because I knew there were so many women who were watching, who were going to be watching. And if I went first, I knew it would give other women permission to do the same. So please share, you know, what you get out of these calls. And yeah, let's help one another rise up into our greatness. So I want to talk about, how cool is this t-shirt? I have to show you. Can you guys see? Empowered Women Shine Brighter. And I thought, I got this on Net-a-Porter. I'm like, that's just too cute not to get. But I really wanted to, I thought this was a really great topic for today. So I want us to have a chit chat about that. I'm going to watch the comments. If you guys have any, you know, questions along the way of what I'm talking about, I'd really love for you to pop them in the chat, in the comments, and I'll keep an eye on that. Hey, everyone. And yeah, and I also want to share with you a really amazing message sign from the universe that I got last week that was quite profound and really brought me back to such a deep sense of peace and joy and, you know, knowing that I'm on the right path. And yeah, it was just a really beautiful moment, the way that happened. So I'm going to share that as well. And it kind of flows on from what we were chatting about last week, if you've seen that call with Nima. So Empowered Women Shine Brighter. I did a post today. Let's just start by chatting about that. You know, one thing that I'm focused on every day that brings me so much peace and joy in my life is becoming a self-ignited source of light. Now, what does that mean? It means that you are responsible for your happiness, not your husband, not your children, not your friends. When you place your happiness in someone else's hands, you put tremendous strain and pressure on those relationships. You are responsible to ignite yourself from within, to find your passion, your purpose, your inspiration for life, you know, the reason for breathing, for getting up, for laughing, for being happy. These are choices you get to make every single day. And, you know, this is really what this call is about is, you know, weekly, we're just chatting about the things that will empower you to make a difference, you know, in your life in that way. And, you know, chaos and challenges do arise. And, you know, one of the greatest challenges for me arose just 2 weeks ago. And after, you know, just over a week of feeling miserable, that was enough for me to snap myself out of it and to go back to the things that make me feel good, that make me feel inspired, that bring happiness into my life. And, you know, those things are meditating in the morning, doing your mission statement, which I've done this training for you guys, you know, Be responsible. No one's coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. Who's going to give you everything you want in life? You. It's not anybody else's responsibility, certainly not a man's responsibility, okay? So, meditation in the morning, exercise. If you want more energy, if you want to feel lit up from within, you have to move your body. Your body is designed to move. Can we get one of the t-shirts? This is from Net-a-Porter, okay? So I purchased it online. You have to move your body every day. There's no excuses. Children are not an excuse. You've got to find something that lights you up. It may be challenging at first if you're not used to it, but you have to take responsibility for your body. Having a green smoothie every day. Here's mine right here. Didn't get to finish it. But easiest way to get an injection of vitality. And for me, I believe that living foods, and it's been proven with a specific kind of photography, living foods have a specific energy vibration to them. So when you consume living plant food, that energy and vibration becomes part of yours. And that's why people who eat healthy, they glow, because they've literally got this life force coursing through their blood. And greens, when you blend it, is so awesome for the quality of your blood. So, if you focus on, and I've done a call on this, you guys can go back through where we chatted about health, focusing on what you choose to do every day to contribute towards your health, not what you're going to skip, what you're going to miss out on, what you're going to deprive yourself on. That's depressing for anyone. That's depressing for me. Right? I eat chocolate every single day, and probably will to the day I die, right? A diet that is free of chocolate is not a diet for me. So what do? I focus on crowding out the bad stuff by the choices that I'm going to make that contribute to my health. So, that includes a green smoothie every day, because it's an easy way to get extra quality nutrients into my blood, taking my Juice Plus tablets. They're not in here right now, but my Juice Plus tablets every single day. It's an easy way to get extra plant goodness into my bloodstream every single day. What are the easy things that you can do to do that for yourself? One of the things that in my mission statement that I'm really focused on, and I'm going to talk about cultivating different parts of your personality today. That's what we're really going to get into. But I want to bring warmth into people's life. I want to be like sunshine. Like, I want to cultivate that part of my personality. And when I walk into a room, I want people to feel warmth from me and connection. And that's something I've had to work on, because I was so shy. I used to always be in my head. And it wasn't that I wasn't a warm person, because I certainly was with the people that I was close to. But over time, I've really worked on getting out of my head and more into my heart space, and really working on that ability to connect and build rapport with others. And it has taken practice. It's taken 5 years of practice. But I do feel like, I'm in a space of being able to master that more naturally now, where it's not so much of an effort. But, in your mission statement, it's bringing to the forefront the parts of your personality that you want to cultivate, because we have all ranges of our personality. And I'm going to get into that now, I think. So, all right. So as I said, as I'm chatting, thank you for your beautiful comments, everyone. I really appreciate it. So as we're chatting, let me know in the comments if you have any questions or a direction you want me to go on, because I haven't scripted anything about today. I don't ever script anything anyway, but I really just wanted to get on here and chat with you guys. So I will take your lead. So this book, okay, so let me tell you, if you haven't watched last week's call, definitely go back and watch that. But basically, a significant challenge arose in my life 2 weeks ago. And, you guys know that, my, the father of my children and I, we did separate last year in about October, November. And, although, it was challenging and disheartening that we weren't able to make it work, I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I really had found, such a happy space. And really, I've felt happier and freer than I ever remember feeling, because I've really worked on that. And I've been able to really focus on myself and my own happiness. And it's been such an incredible gift. And another challenge arose that it kind of really derailed my sense of happiness and purpose for a moment. And after a week or so of sitting in negativity and frustration and anger and blame and shame and all of those negative emotions that don't make anyone feel good. You know, my energy was low, my energy was really heavy, and I just didn't want to be like that anymore, regardless of how I felt about the situation. It wasn't serving me to sit in those emotions and to sit in those personality traits that don't serve me or anyone around me. So anyway, one of the evening rituals I have is I have a sauna, which, by the way, before anyone judges or rolls their eyes, this was a lifelong goal. Like, for years, it was on my goal list, on my vision board, because health is one of my greatest values. And I have challenges with my joints from a health condition that I had years ago that I keep at bay by eating healthy. But it's something that I set a goal and I reached, and that's how I got it. So, you know, and this is part of what I'm passionate about, is empowering women to have the self-worth that you can create and get whatever you want for your life. You know, if you want a sauna, then cultivate the self-worth, work hard for it, and go and create that for yourself, right? If it's a Chanel handbag, if it's a holiday, like whatever it is, the dream home, the giving to charity, whatever lights you up, right? You need to place a high value on yourself. You're the only one that can do that, and you can make stuff happen for you. So next time that you find yourself judging someone for, you know, them having a lot, or, you know, being able to get the most out of life, I encourage you to self-reflect on what that might be saying about, you know, areas that you can grow and move forward. Because, you know, I definitely used to be one of those people, like the tall poppy syndrome thing. So anyway, off track. So it's funny that when we are feeling the most challenged, it's when we are the least inspired to do the work that we know. I'm sorry, I'm looking between two screens because I've got Zoom going and live, so I'm just watching your comments. So it's often when we feel the least energized to do the work that we need to do. So I was being a little bit like, oh, I'm just going to watch Netflix while I'm in the sauna. And funny enough, my pretty new laptop, for some reason, the mouse has stopped working and I couldn't get the Netflix to work. And, you know, it's boring to sit in the sauna for an hour doing nothing. So I have had this book on my bedside table, and I did read a couple of chapters a while back, but, you know, I've got so many books and so many audio books on the go and podcasts, and, you know, I'm always changing according to what's relevant in my life at the time. So I don't always get through a whole book in one sitting before I'm, you know, picking something else up, which probably isn't a good thing. But anyway, and I just thought, I don't know where I ended up in this book, so I'm just going to open it up and start reading. And I just, as soon as I started reading, it was like, and actually I have to like go back a couple of days before this, I was listening to a podcast while at the gym, doing the right thing, trying to be a self-ignited source of light when I was feeling low, and I'll listen to a podcast instead of music. And it might have been Gabrielle Bernstein, is that her name? The Universe Has Your Back, which is so relevant to this conversation. And she talked about asking the universe for a sign. And so I kind of did a bit of a meditation about asking for a sign that I was on the right track, because everything just felt like just heavy. And anyway, so I opened this book to whatever page, and yeah, just the most overwhelming sense of peace and joy washed over me that I hadn't felt for many days. And I was just able in that moment to just release and to come back to my happy place. And I don't know if forgiveness is there yet. But coming back to compassion and love and kindness, and compassion for yourself and for others, and taking responsibility for our reactions in the face of whatever the challenge is or whatever someone else's behavior is. You are only responsible for how you respond. And I want to read a couple of parts that really stood out for me. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. So what I want you to get from today is we all have all parts of our personality. And I used to live a lot in the more negative ones, in judgment, in shame, blame, justifying, ungrateful, just judgment, or like just seeing the negative, like glass is half empty. We all have that neg ferret inside of us that wants to be like just that reactive, high school version of ourselves, unevolved, unconscious, right? So we have all shades. We have that side. But we also have the loving, kind, grateful, compassionate, joyful, warm, loving version of ourselves, and all of those many qualities. And we choose which ones we cultivate more and which ones we allow to show up in our lives. And so for those 2 weeks, I was allowing the ones that I had really moved away from. And this is the interesting thing. And look, I don't know whether this is wrong or right. Okay. So this is just my experience and my story. But the more that I've moved towards the light ones, the more I focus on cultivating them, the more self-love I have for myself. And part of the reason why I do the work on myself is because I don't like myself when I'm living in the other side. And I'm now in a place where I can recognize it, appreciate it, and love all parts of myself. But I'm in my happy space when I'm cultivating the lighter sides of myself. So this is what it said. So as you become conscious of the different parts of your personality, you become able to experience consciously the forces within you that compete for expression, that lay claim to the single intention that will be yours at each moment, that will shape your reality. When you enter these dynamics consciously, you create for yourself the ability to choose consciously among the forces within you, to choose where and how you will focus your energy. The choice not to choose is the choice to remain unconscious and therefore to wield power irresponsibly. Between every reaction, there is a moment of pause, of inner pause, where you choose how you're going to react. And we're not always going to react with love and kindness and perfectly. And, there was a situation for me a week ago where I was really not, like I was still processing the information, and I was really challenged. And then I was put in a situation where I wasn't able to respond resourcefully. So it doesn't mean that you're always going to perfect it, but when you're conscious, you can look back on it and learn from it for the future. And you get better and better at that inner pause where you get to choose how you're going to respond, whether it's with love. And sometimes it's just responding with love for yourself, even if you can't find it for another in that moment. But yeah, so that was one of the things that came up for me, is recognizing that I was choosing to cultivate the personality traits that I'm wanting to move away from. And there's another bit, and I'm not sure where it is in the book, but so here we go. A responsible choice is a choice that takes into account the consequences of each of your choices. In order to make a responsible choice, you must ask yourself for each choice that you are considering, what will this produce? This is what really hit me in the heart. Do I really want to create that? Am I ready to accept all of the consequences of this choice? Project yourself into the probable future that will unfold with each choice that you are considering. Do this not with the energy of intention, but simply to test the water, to get the feel for what you are considering creating, and see how you feel. Ask yourself, is this really what I want? And then decide. And so, in that moment, I really projected forward how, even though I felt wronged, staying in those negative emotions, when I projected many months forward, if I continue showing up in that way, the way it would damage the things in my life that I love, my children, the people I respect and admire, the relationships that I need to uphold. And it was such a negative outcome that it just isn't worth continuing to cultivate those things. And then when I look at leading with love and compassion and forgiveness and kindness, that leads to a very bright and beautiful future. And so in that moment, I made that choice to come back to peace and love. And yeah, it was very impactful. And the other the other thing that was quite profound for me that I read throughout this was the other realization I had is that, you know, the universe does have my back, and I knew that, and I felt that, and I had faith in that. But the side that I was missing is that it also has everybody else's back. And, you know, whatever journey is presented for someone else, it's not for me to get in the way of that. It's not for me to judge that. It's not for me to, you know, react to that. Everybody has their own journey, and everybody has their own spiritual lessons that they need to learn. And, you know, and it's not for me to even know what those lessons are. But I just need to stay in my own lane and focus on the lessons that are there for me, and to continue to focus on my own growth and my own service and my own impact in the world. And this just really brought me back to this beautiful, happy space that I feel back in now, which I really, you know, love to lead my life from. There was another beautiful paragraph that I read that I just wanted to read you, because many of you are in this leadership space of empowering women or empowering people around you. And it really just talked about, you know, if you focus on negative aspects of your life, or you choose to focus your attention on the weaknesses of others and the shortcomings of others, just how that, you know, cultivates these negative parts of ourselves. And this paragraph I thought was just so beautiful and intentional. And so I've added something from it actually into my mission statement after reading this. But if you choose to focus your energy on the strengths of others, on the virtues of others, on the parts of others that strives for the highest, you run through your system the higher frequency currents of appreciation, acceptance, and love. Your energy and influence radiate instantaneously from soul to soul. You become an effective instrument of constructive change. Is that not beautiful? So your energy and influence radiates instantaneously from soul to soul. So when you focus on all of the strengths of others, when you focus on appreciation and you know, all the things around you that are just totally in your favor and working for you and for others, you know, you just become so influential in impacting others, in uplifting the energy. You know, I used to feel so affected by other people's energy, it would influence mine, where I have really worked on myself that I'm the influencer of energy, that I'm in charge of my emotional state, and that nobody else's actions or reactions, and not to say I'm nailing it in life, I'm working on it, but that I'm in control of my state, and what somebody else does doesn't influence me, because my energy, vibration, and intention is higher and stronger for myself. There was one other nice little quote that I thought I would read, and I thought this is just beautiful. This book is freaking amazing, guys. Like, seriously, I have just been opening it up and just reading a paragraph and going, oh my God, that is the most incredible paragraph I've ever read. Like, I haven't even read it front to back properly, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is just full of gold nuggets. But I thought this was beautiful in terms of just empowering yourself as a woman. You are only as powerful as that for which you stand. I'll say that again. You are only as powerful as that for which you stand. Do you stand for more money in the bank and a bigger house? Do you stand for an attractive mate? Do you stand for it in imposing your way of thinking upon others? These are the stands of the personality seeking to satisfy its wants. Do you stand for perfection, for the beauty and compassion of each soul? Do you stand for the power of love and the clarity of wisdom? Do you stand for forgiveness and humbleness? These are the stands of the personality that has aligned itself with its soul. This is the position of a truly powerful personality. Isn't that just beautiful? And, you know, this is where your mission statement is so powerful. Even the little mission statement that I've given you guys in the group, you know, it's, for me, I stand for being an empowered, high value woman, being strong yet graceful, being able to stand in my greatness, but being humble and allowing other women to come into that space too. You know, I stand for setting my value and worth in the world. I stand for creating what I want and, you know, giving everything that I want to myself, because nobody somebody else has the responsibility to do it for me. I stand for, let me know in the comments, what do you stand for? I stand for being a conscious and connected parent, to cultivating a beautiful relationship with my children and helping them become the best version of who they are meant to be. You know, I stand for doing my best not to impose on them my beliefs and values and who I think that they should be, or who I even think that they are. You know, they're really just discovering themselves who they are, and I want them to be who they're meant to be. You know, I stand for making an impact in the world and, you know, becoming more and more conscious. You know, I'm certainly not perfect in this area, but, you know, just becoming more and more conscious of my impact in the world environmentally and, you know, helping, you know, the community where I can. And, you know, I really want my future to be about giving back and contribution. I stand for empowering other women to raise into their greatness. What do you stand for? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, you guys need this book. I feel like I'm going to read it over and over because it's just so many profound. You can read a book and not really take in the gold as you're reading it. And as I said, like, I literally could read that one paragraph and just meditate and think on everything that that one paragraph is saying. And this was the reason why I bought it is because Oprah Winfrey goes on about it. And, you know, if she goes on about a book, and The Power of Now is another one, and then Untethered Soul, like, they would be, in this one, probably 3 of the most profoundly impactful for me in terms of my spiritual growth and my awareness of self and coming into more self-love and joy in my life. Oh, I love reading what you guys stand for. Keep it coming. I'm going to go back and just read through those, because that just really inspires me and, you know, reminds me why I do what I do. So this is The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukav. I'm not sure how to say that, but anyway, I'm no good at pronouncing. So that's all I really wanted to chat to you about today. So we might keep it short and sweet. There's no point to, you know, keep on chatting. I think there's some really gold nuggets there. You know, maybe what you want to do is go away tonight and journal on that. You know, maybe recognize all the parts of yourself and know that everybody has all those parts of ourselves, all the parts of the personality, but we get to choose which parts of our personality we want to cultivate more of. We get to choose how we respond and react to different situations. You know, we get to choose to arm ourselves with our own emotional state of choice. And the one that I am cultivating is a beautiful state, which is one of peace, love, and gratitude. If you want to know more about cultivating a beautiful space and how to do that, you can go to our Being Limitless chats that we did. If you go to my YouTube channel, I think it was the 2nd and the 3rd call that I did for the Empowered Women's Coaching. Being Limitless is really just talking about opening yourself up, you know, cultivating that beautiful state and knowing that you are limitless in your potential, but how to bring yourself to that state where you truly believe and feel it in every cell of your body. What else did we chat about? Yeah, and I think, you know, I really do feel that I can feel compassion now, knowing that everybody is on their own journey of the soul with their own lessons. And, you know, it's never for me to judge, only to focus on my own and to focus on my own happiness and cultivating my own happiness. And yeah, I just genuinely feel back in that space. So as always, I hope my journey, you know, I'm no expert. I'm really just sharing my journey because I know that it helps other women feel normal in what they're going through. And, you know, it helps us stop the comparison that's going on out there that really does derail us from our happiness. And yeah, as always, please share and, you know, let me know what topics you would love to see more of. And, you know, if you have a profound awakening or this impacts you in some way, please let me know or share it in the Empowered Women's group, because, you know, I've noticed that when women are sharing in that group, it's opening up a space for other women to feel, you know, me too, I can do this too. I can overcome my challenges too. So we get to help one another in the community by doing that. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. And yeah, I'm not sure what we'll be chatting about next week. But as always, it's just such a pleasure. And yeah, I just want to extend my sincere gratitude for this community, because you just inspire me beyond measure, to continue doing what I'm doing and to continue working on myself and becoming better. And yeah, it's just the greatest gift ever. It truly, truly is. So thank you so much for everyone, for your support, your love, your kindness, and for hanging out with me in this community. I hope you guys have the best day ever. Thanks, everyone.